So the power of three, or otherwise known as AMD. So what is AMD? Well, it stands for accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. But what does it actually look like on a chart? Firstly, you're going to get your accumulation, which is price moving, no real structure, in a tight range, equal highs, equal lows, disrespecting PDRAs on both sides of the market. Like, we do not want to trade this at all. If you see the market accumulating, don't trade this. Wait for the manipulation. We will get a manipulation, which is a fast move, an impulsive move out of that range to target other draws on liquidity, such as PDRAs like fair value gaps or order blocks or session highs and lows. For this example, I'm going to be doing a bullish AMD / power of three. So we will manipulate lower, but in a bearish power of three, we will manipulate higher. So we get our manipulation leg, which looks like this. I'll show you real chart examples as well after this. So we have now our accumulation, price moving in a tight range, no real structure. Then we get a move out of that range to trap sellers, in this case sellers, because it is a bullish power of three. And if it were to the upside, it would be trapping buyers. So this is really important to realize and to know, because I bet you've been caught like this so many times, and you're going to learn how to avoid that today. So now we've got that, we will distribute to the intended target. And obviously you can't have any of this if you don't have a clear bias and drawn liquidity to the upside. So we get our distribution. Usually my rule is do not take a power of three setup if we've already reached the accumulation highs, because what you need to understand, the power of three mainly works based on the ideology that it would deliver to the accumulation highs, and this is the cycle that it has: accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. But if you have a PD array or drawn liquidity up here, we will deliver high. Now that's all done, I'll move this over here so I can get into the open low high close and open high low close. Understanding a high time frame candle is important for this. This is going to be a bullish candle, and this is our bearish candle. So what you need to understand in a high time frame candle structure, this is what you need to understand. This is basically how a high time frame candle will look. We will get our accumulation where the candle opens, it opens here, and then we manipulate lower to put in the bottom wick of that candle, and then we will distribute higher to put in the top wick, and then we will come down and start accumulating again. And then in a bearish candle, we will open here, start accumulating, manipulate higher to put in that top wick, and then we will distribute lower to put in that bottom wick over here, and then we will accumulate again to close. That is why it is called a open low high close, or a open high low close. Fairly simple. I hope you can understand that, and now I'll get into some real chart examples. So this is going to be a high time frame example, and we're on the 15-minute because the power of three occurs on every time frame. You can see we have our accumulation range here, and then we manipulate down into a 4-hour gap. This was a very nice trade. We manipulate down into the OTE exactly. We tap the OTE and then we go back up. So we manipulate down here, and a lot of people did get caught on this move. I knew this wasn't actually finished because we didn't hit the accumulation highs, which would be here. So I did treat this whole range here as accumulation because we didn't actually manipulate into the equilibrium or the 4-hour gap that was here. So we get our manipulation, and then we got our distribution right afterwards. Very, very clean power of three on the high time frame, and now I'll get into the open low high close on the hourly candles and the 4-hour candle. Okay, so now this is an hourly candle that has just opened at 7 o'clock. And as you can see, we never put in a top wick of this candle, which tells me we are going to start accumulating, and then we are going to manipulate lower into a higher time frame PD array, such as a 15, or in this case a 5-minute gap. We also have a discounted 5-minute gap here that I would look out for. And as you can see, we start to accumulate, and then we manipulate. We do put in a top wick of this candle. However, we never actually targeted these highs. I would treat this as accumulation. Even though the hourly candle opened here, we were still disrespecting PD rays on both sides of the market. So I will wait for a sweep of these accumulation lows, which we get there. And also to note, we did put in a bottom wick of this candle, of the hourly candle. And now we can look for an entry trigger. I usually look for the highest time frame inversion, which is a 3-minute inversion. In this case, I don't think we have a 4-minute inversion here, but let's just see if this 3-minute goes inversed. We do. And you could probably take a trade like this now that we've tapped into this gap and we also have a change in state of delivery. So now you can assume that we're going to distribute higher, which what do? We distribute higher. Very, very simple stuff. And this is how the candle bodies are made up on like literally every hour. I'll go over to this next, to literally the hour before, just to show you how this works. So yeah, we have our accumulation range here. This hourly candle is opened here. We start to accumulate. We've now put in the bottom wick of that candle, tapped into this 1-minute gap, and then we get a change in state of delivery where you can enter and target the high of the candle or the accumulation highs, which like it works every single hour. Although this delivery is very slow. I don't have AS up here as well, so we could have got SMT above these highs. But as you can see, it does work every single hour. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. Chuck a sub and also join my Discord. I've got a lot of free resources where I've gone over the 10 AM power of 3 and other power of 3 models. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.